In the last two videos, we discussed different types of stress and how they manifest in various forms, such as active, dormant, and potential stress. Stress can be further classified as positive and negative stress, as well as intentional and unintentional stress. We also introduced a stress identification diagram that allows us to identify different forms of stress proactively and systematically. Having identified them, you must be curious to know how we can manage them. Let's start with the roadmap that summarizes the steps and strategies for management of stress. When a patient consults a doctor, the doctor makes a diagnosis, informs the patient, and then recommends appropriate treatment. The doctor's initial goal in managing cancer or poisoning that could spread to other organs is to contain the disease and prevent its spread. At the same time, if the patient is suffering from intense pain, doctors administer medicines for comfort. This is followed by treatment of the underlying causative factors. Subsequently, the focus moves to continued suppression and complete eradication of the disease. Strategies to identify and manage stress, especially long-lasting stress, are very similar to that clinical approach. Long-lasting stress manifests due to strong passions, intense attachments, and unreasonable expectations known as anantanubandhi kashayas. These passions are inevitable in the presence of wrong beliefs and ignorance about consciousness. As we have already seen, they are a form of potential stress. The primary steps in the process of stress identification and management are 1. A state of uncontained stress. 2. A state of contained stress. 3. A state of reduced stress. 4. Eradication of long-lasting stress. 5. Preventing recurrence of long-lasting stress. And 6. Complete eradication of stress. Progress through these stages is achieved through the practice of contain, reduce, conquer, prevent, or CRCP. Let's discuss these stages one by one. Uncontained stress. In this stage, serious negative behaviors are prevalent, such as A. Addictions related to alcohol, tobacco, and other harmful substances, as well as addictions to behaviors such as gambling. B. Violent, unethical, and immoral behaviors such as intentionally killing or hurting other living beings, habitually lying and stealing, extramarital relationships, and unchecked materialism. These behaviors result from intense passions. Do you agree that these behaviors are capable of destroying our physical, mental, and emotional health while ruining us socially and financially? Often, they can also land us in legal trouble. These behaviors represent an inescapable spiral of stress. Therefore, we call this stage uncontained stress. In future videos, we will discuss ways to contain self-destructive behaviors through a series of de-addiction and behavioral resolution techniques. Using these techniques, we can reach the stage of contained stress. In the stage of contained stress, attitude and lifestyle-related issues, along with wrong beliefs and distorted understanding, do not allow intensity of stress to subside. If not addressed, these issues could lead to serious mental health diseases such as depression and anxiety. Here are a few examples. Irrational goals and unbalanced priorities. Irrational decision-making. Inappropriate speech. Unhealthy lifestyle. Unresolved conflicts. Negative thinking. Fear of failure. An inferiority complex. And following irrational ideals and idols. We will discuss each of the above behaviors in detail in future videos. Addressing these issues empower us to live peacefully by containing stress. At this point, we can begin a set of activities geared toward reducing intensity of stress. In order to reach the stage of reduced stress, we should reduce the intensity of negative passions such as anger, ego, deceit, and greed through introspection, contemplation, and cultivating positive passions such as compassion, truthfulness, gratitude, forgiveness, humility, straightforwardness, satisfaction, and charity. For this to happen, 3 things are required. 1. Proper philosophical understanding of consciousness, various causes of stress, and how to overcome passions. 2. Introspection to identify active, dormant, and potential forms of negative passions such as anger, ego, deceit, greed, fear, and grief, along with underlying wrong beliefs and incorrect opinions. 3. Systematic contemplation to rectify wrong beliefs, incorrect opinions, and negative passions by cultivating positive passions. Through repeated introspection and contemplation, we will be able to develop a positive outlook and continued awareness to become much more resilient to stress. Progress toward eradicating long-lasting stress may begin when we start to differentiate between transient aspects of life, such as the body and material things, from everlasting consciousness, and seek to become stress-free through systematic contemplations. However, eliminating wrong beliefs does not occur entirely until we gain complete conviction about our identity as a consciousness through self-realization. In order to develop firm conviction about ourself as a consciousness, we will need to experience a partial passionless state, Atmanubhuti, that we discussed in video 13. Experiencing this passionless state truly enables us to overcome many types of active, dormant, and potential stresses by experiencing inherent non-sensory bliss that comes from within. This bliss is independent of any external factors. This is a meditative state in which we overcome all active forms of negative as well as positive passions, thus conquering long-lasting stress from within. By experiencing this state, we attain a firm conviction about consciousness, which is the permanent aspect of our own identity. The process to achieve this passionless state is known as Bhed Vigyan, or the art of self-identification, through which many wrong beliefs are corrected and long-lasting stress is eliminated, thus resulting in improved emotional health. This partial passionless state is a transient one because we will eventually get involved in our day-to-day professional and personal activities. However, due to improved resilience, the intensity of our passions will be milder than before. Now these passions are not accompanied by wrong beliefs, and they manifest primarily due to lack of self-discipline, or avidati, and negligence, or pramad. Due to absence of wrong beliefs, these passions don't last as long as long-lasting passions, and thus we call these passions short-lasting passions. These short-lasting passions result in the short-lasting stress. In order to reduce these passions further, we can then adopt a set of behavioral resolutions to proactively address certain types of potential passions and limit unnecessary stressful activities. In this stage, we proactively deal with potential difficult situations of life, such as financial hardship, health-related issues, loneliness, suicidal thoughts, and loss of loved ones. These techniques boost our resilience to stress and prevent long-lasting stress while also reducing the frequency and intensity of short-lasting stress. This stage is called preventing recurrence of long-lasting stress. Complete eradication of all types of stress requires one to be completely detached by adopting advanced behavioral resolutions and practicing deeper levels of Bhed Vigyan meditation to achieve an everlasting passionless state. We will be offering a glimpse into this stage towards the end of this video series. It is important to note that the stages of stress described here are not based on active stress only, because active passions are short-lived. The classification of these stages depend upon the magnitude of active, dormant, as well as potential stress. Such a classification allows us to systematically and proactively identify stress, and contain, reduce, conquer, and prevent stress. While being in any of these stages, we continue to oscillate periodically between active, dormant, and potential stresses with varied intensity. However, intensity and frequency of stressful experiences goes down as we progress through the stages. Now that we understand what is stress, let's try to understand the causes of stress in the next video before we embark on the journey to systematically manage stress. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.